So I want to talk a little bit about my journey, and a lot of people don't know, and some people do, but my husband and I, we suffered from infertility for 5 years, and we've been married 6 years this year, so God came through in the clutch. But we suffered in silence for a long time, and didn't discuss it with really anybody. And then eventually, maybe like after year 2, we started telling, our parents or whatever that we're going through to doctors and everything. And I just remember holding on to the promise. I felt, but I knew that God promised me that I would be a mother. And that's what I chose to believe. And no matter what anyone else would say, no matter what doctors would say, I chose to believe God said I was going to be a mother from my own body. So, and every month, every year, my body would fail me. And it was heart-wrenching. There were some sleepless nights. There were nights when I would be on the floor crying and praying and crying and praying well into 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, why God? Like, you promised me this, so what is happening? And it was hard to be encouraged in that season. It was very difficult because I felt alone, because everyone around me was popping up pregnant. So they really couldn't relate to what I may have been going through. Some people tried to say, share their story. But it's different. Everybody's journey is different, I will say, and everybody's battle is different. So when we were going through ours, I felt like I had to be strong for me and my husband, because he would be the one every month disappointed, sometimes to tears, angry, and for like 3 days, it was month after month, like, no, it didn't happen this month, honey. And it was like a 3-day depression he would go into, and he didn't want to talk. He, just would pour himself into eating his junk food and doing his own thing, and he just kind of shut down for 3 days. And I just started noticing a pattern. It was 3 days every month that he would do this. And don't let another friend say that they were pregnant. Immediate depression, immediate shutdown. And that was hard for me because I felt like I was letting my husband down. Not that I had any control over what was going on, right, but it made me depressed because I was just like, well, what's wrong with me? Like, I can't, what is happening? And the doctors had no answer. They're like, well, you guys are too healthy, young people, so we don't see any reason why. And I just remember wanting answers, and God not saying much other than wait. And sometimes God not saying anything at all, wait, nothing. Like, I would just be in silence crying and feeling alone in it. And when we decided to do fertility treatments, we started off with the pills, the Clomid, that didn't work. And then so we graduated to doing the shots, super ovulation. And that was a journey. And that was a lonely journey. And it was a commitment. And then every time that didn't work, you find yourself trying to look for reasons and for people to blame. So then I'm like, oh, it's my husband's fault because he hasn't been praying and reading his Bible like he's supposed to. Like you try to rationalize why something isn't working out. He's like, well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, Lord. So, maybe it's him, and I had to stop doing that. I had to be like, it's nothing he's doing. It's nothing, anyone's doing. We just have to keep the faith and we have to stay strong. But it's really hard when you're going through that and no one understands how that feels. And people try to be encouraging and it just kind of falls short of encouragement. And, and you just wonder what's wrong. I changed my diet. I would exercise. I did everything to make sure that I was in tip-top shape, and every month was still not getting pregnant. And it was just like losing every single month. Like, man, how many times can I fail? How many times can my body, betray me? And it was a lot of anguish. I won't lie. It was a lot of anguish, and it was hard because I'm known as the bubbly one. I'm known as
yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, because anyone who knows Christie knows that she always has a smile on her face. Mm-hmm. So like during those times, how did you continue to keep yourself encouraged, you know, especially with your husband being, you know, falling into this depression every single month when it's not happening for you? Like, what were some of the things that you were able to do, or did you feel that you were more so putting on a facade to the world that, you know, I'm still okay despite?
I think that it was a little bit of both. Some days I was good and, you know, just pouring myself into what I believed, you know, into what God promised me, and, you know, praying and, you know, listening to positive things, watching what I listened to, listening to positive things helped. But yes, a lot of times it was just plastering a smile on my face to make other people feel, because I feel like when people are used to seeing you a certain kind of way, when you're not that way, it makes them uncomfortable.
Right.
And then you feel like you're stuck in this weird place of having to comfort other people, you know, when you're the one going through it. And so I just plastered the smile so that I don't get the pity looks, or I don't get the, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through that, you know, type thing, you know. And, you know, and then I kind of felt, I guess, selfish or ungrateful, because then people would point out, I mean, yeah, you're complaining about this, but look what you have. You have a house, and you have a car, and you have, you know, this awesome paying job, and you have this good husband who, you know, comes home every day. You know, like that's not something you should expect of your husband. I would expect a husband to come home every day, you know. So, you know, but, you know, they would say these things and it would kind of like make me feel bad. Like, well, am I being ungrateful and unappreciative of my stuff? Like, no, I mean, I appreciated everything God gave me, but in my mind, I was looking at it as God gave me this house to put babies in, or God gave me this new car so I could put a car seat in the back, you know, like, so in my mind, I got all these things, Lord, we got the room ready, you know, we just waiting on this baby, and then no baby. So that was hard, because then I had to learn who to share, who I could trust to share those feelings with, and who I couldn't trust. And so that's when slowly I stopped talking about it with some people, you know, and they stopped asking eventually. And I just would say, you know, oh, I'm just praying, you know, we just waiting on God, or, you know, whatever. The generic, we made up a generic answer, me and my husband, to give people. So then there were just a select few, like my Christie here, who knew what was going on, and, you know, the fertility treatments, and, you know, eventually, you know, us leading to the IVF, and then the feelings behind that. You know, I wasn't so much bothered by it so much, but, you know, just realizing that God can answer prayers in a way that you may not expect, you know, and we'll talk more about that later. But just keep in mind that, you know, your vision for your life and your vision for how God is going to bless you is not going to necessarily be in the way that you wanted it to. You know, God is going to do what he wants, when he wants, how he wants to do it. You know, you just understand that in all of it, it'll be for your good. You know, at the end of it all, it'll be to benefit you, and it'll be for your good, and you'll be blessed because of it, but it just may not be in the package that you expected. And that's what I had to learn, and that's what I had to reconcile myself with, because we went back and forth after like 3 or 4 rounds of the super ovulation, and we had to stop that because the doctor said, hey, you're gonna run out of eggs.